Please video like and subscribe this channel. The invitation alone was enough to make my hands shake. Not because I wanted to attend the grand banquet of Zirith Prime, but because no human had ever been invited before. The Zirati were an ancient species, tall and luminous, their civilization older than Earth's first cities. They ruled through ritual, hierarchy, and silence. Humans were tolerated as traders, technicians, and translators, but never guests of honor. Never equals. Yet there I was, standing at the entrance of the spiral hall, dressed in formal attire hastily tailored to alien proportions, surrounded by beings who could kill me without lifting a finger. My name is Elias Crow. I was a cultural liaison, nothing more. My job was to observe, listen, and not disrupt anything. Especially not tonight. The spiral hall unfurled before me like a living galaxy, tables curved in concentric rings around a central dais, each seat carved from crystalline stone that pulsed faintly with biolight. Above us, holographic constellations drifted slowly, rearranging themselves in patterns only the Zirati understood. The air vibrated with restrained power. "Follow protocol," my escort whispered through the translator implant. "Sit where indicated. Do not speak unless addressed." I nodded. That was when everything went wrong. The seating glyphs were subtle, too subtle for human eyes. As nobles flowed into the hall, guided by instinct and ancestral memory, I hesitated for half a second too long. And then I Saturday. The instant my weight touched the seat, the hall fell silent. Not a dramatic silence. Not gasps or shouts. A dead silence. Every biolight dimmed at once. Conversations stopped mid-thought. Even the constellations overhead froze in place. I felt it immediately, the pressure. The invisible weight of thousands of eyes locking onto me. My escort went pale. "That seat," he whispered. "Human, you must stand. Now." Before I could move, a deep, resonant voice echoed through the hall. "Do not." The word carried authority sharp enough to cut. All eyes shifted away from me, toward the highest table near the central dais. That was when I saw her. Princess Vilera. Daughter of the Zirati Queen. Heir to the dead suns. Known across systems as the deadliest royal alive, a strategist who had ended wars before they began, a warrior rumored to have personally executed traitor kings. Her skin shimmered like liquid obsidian laced with starlight. Her eyes, silver and unblinking, were fixed on me. She hadn't looked away since I sat down. Protocol demanded she dismiss me. Tradition demanded my removal. History demanded my death. Instead, she rose. Every noble lowered their gaze as she descended from the dais, each step measured, deliberate. The faint sound of her ceremonial blades echoed at her hips. She stopped directly in front of me. Up close, the pressure doubled. My heart pounded, my throat dry. I forced myself to meet her gaze, running would only make things worse. "You are human," she said, voice calm. "Yes," I replied. Elias Crow. A ripple of shock passed through the hall. Humans were not supposed to answer royalty directly. The princess tilted her head slightly. "You sit in the seat of choosing." My escort looked ready to faint. "I didn't know," I said honestly. "If I've dishonored your customs." "You have not," she interrupted. That made it worse. The seat of choosing was ancient, a relic from an era when Zirati royalty selected champions, consorts, or execution victims in public ritual. It had not been used in centuries. Yet now, a human occupied it. "Why do you look at me without fear?" Vilera asked quietly. I swallowed. "Because I don't think you'd kill me for a mistake." A pause. Then, something no one expected. She smiled. The banquet resumed under an uneasy tension, but Vilera never returned to her seat. She remained standing beside me. With every course served, every toast made, every silent political exchange, her attention never wavered. Nobles whispered through subtle color shifts in their skin. Elders exchanged alarmed glances. The queen herself watched from the dais, expression unreadable. "Do you know what happens to those chosen by the seat?" Vilera asked softly. "No," I admitted. "But I assume it's not pleasant." "Sometimes," she said. "Sometimes not." She leaned closer, her voice dropping. "The seat reveals truth, desire, potential, danger. And what does it say about me?" I asked. Her eyes glowed brighter. "That remains to be tested." The test came sooner than expected. Halfway through the banquet, the hall shuddered. A ripple of distortion tore through the constellations above, followed by a sudden spike in energy signatures. An assassination attempt. Blades emerged from nowhere. Disguised guests lunged toward the dais, weapons designed to pierce royal shielding. Before I could think, I moved. I shoved Vilera backward, grabbing a fallen ceremonial spear and driving it into the nearest attacker. Pain flared as a plasma blade grazed my side, but adrenaline drowned it out. Security forces reacted seconds later, but seconds were enough. I stood between the princess and the attackers, bleeding, breathing hard. When it was over, the hall was chaos. And Vilera was staring at me like I had just rewritten fate. "You placed yourself between death and royalty," she said later, as medics sealed my wound. "I placed myself between death and a person," I replied. "Titles don't change that." The queen descended from the dais then. Her presence was overwhelming, ancient, vast, terrifying. She looked at me for a long moment. "Human," she said. "You have violated protocol, altered ritual, and disrupted destiny." I braced myself. Then she turned to her daughter. "And yet, destiny seems pleased." A murmur rippled through the hall. Vilera straightened. "Mother." "I claim him." Silence fell again, this time heavier. The queen studied us both. "You understand what that means?" "I do," Vilera said. "And so does the seat." The queen nodded once. "So be it." In the days that followed, the galaxy trembled. News spread fast. The Zerati princess had chosen a human. Not as a prisoner. Not as a novelty. As her bonded equal. I was given quarters within the palace, trained in Zerati customs, politics, and survival. Every day brought new danger, assassins, challengers, nobles testing my worth. Vilera never left my side. She trained me herself. Tested me. Watched me fail and rise again. "Why me?" I finally asked her one night, standing beneath unfamiliar stars. She considered the question carefully. "Because you sat without entitlement," she said. "You spoke without arrogance. You acted without hesitation." She looked at me, truly looked. "And because you didn't look away." The final trial came months later, a formal challenge before the High Council. I stood alone, unarmed, facing beings who doubted my right to exist at all. Vilera watched from the throne. I spoke not of strength, or conquest, or destiny. I spoke of choice. Of sitting where you're told not to sit. Of standing when it matters. Of seeing someone not as a legend or a threat, but as a soul. When I finished, the council was silent. Then, one by one, they bowed. On the day Vilera was crowned queen, the seat of choosing glowed again. This time, she sat beside me. The galaxy would argue about it for generations. But I knew the truth. I took the wrong seat at an alien feast. And destiny decided it was exactly where I belonged.